To help introduce this week's project, it's a good idea to revisit the course big picture and to take a look at where most of the projects that you've accomplished up to this point fit into the big picture, and then take a look at where this week's project fits in to the big picture as well. And if you recall, and I hope you recall, that the purpose of this course is to help you improve your practice as an educator through the application of different technologies in four very distinct but very important areas. The first area that we're taking a really in-depth look at are different ways in which technology can be used to help promote instruction and all the components of instruction. And then later in the course, you'll look at some of the ways that technology can be used to help support community building, managing the processes and resources of being a teacher, and then also continually improving your practice through professional development. But if you recall, in terms of instruction, one of the very first things that you examined was what's worth learning in the first place. If you're going to be designing instruction for your students, what is going to be worth yours and their time, energy, and effort learning? So in order to answer any questions about how technology can be used, you have to be really clear in your mind about what it is you want your students to learn how to do forever, being their teacher. And one of the projects that you completed was using Draw, the online free kind of flowchart or schematic diagramming application, to help you create a big picture of what you think is worth learning for your students, and to use that picture to help communicate what is worth learning to parents on a parent night. So that was one of the first things that you did technology-wise. Next, I presented some information on the various characteristics of what constitutes instruction. What are the common components of an instructional experience? What are some of the things that you would be designing as you create lesson plans or unit plans, or just planning instruction in general? And even though I presented the components of instruction as very discrete things, the reality is it's all mushed together in a nice stew, a nice blend. But some of the things that we looked at were specifically how a new instructional experience would be introduced, what the activities and information presentation might look like, and we're going to continue with looking at practice and feedback, and then how you might review a learning experience with your students, or rather how they might review it. Surrounding all of the components of instruction is the very important concept or construct of context, and what you can do as an educator to define purposeful and meaningful contexts for your learners. And again, all of the components of instruction are all, if they're designed well, would live within and be part of a meaningful and purposeful learning context. Now, one of the projects you completed related specifically to a component of instruction was to examine how you might use existing videos to help introduce a new learning experience. And so you completed that project. And what you're about to do now is you are going to create a new project this week in which you examine different ways in which a particular application might be used to help provide your learners with specific practice and feedback. And we're actually going to go back to the use of YouTube for this project, and you're going to use an application called Playposit, which is a program in which you can take any streaming video, and I'll have you use YouTube again this time, and you can use any streaming video, and you can add stops to the video or pop-ups to the video that ask specific questions and promote interactivity from the learners as far as making decisions and making choices or thinking about specific things in which they're prompted from within an existing video. And so it's a fun, creative project in which you get to, again, repurpose or reuse some existing media, again, in this case, video, to help learners apply skills that will help them, again, better learn some of the important things that you want them to. So that's where the project this week fits into the overall big picture of the class.